ask you about training camps. It's one of those things that it's funny. I class myself not as a big boxing fan, but yeah, I watch all the big fights. I've got DVD box sets and stuff. But but can you talk us through your average kind of training camp?
Yeah, so an average training camp, I'd say, lasts from anything from about 8 to 10 weeks at a time. You'll be training full time. That means 2 or 3 sessions a day.
And then
That
what
could
kind
be
of
anything
sessions?
from
Are they
yeah.
strength? Are they
So
fitness? Everything?
yeah. So the sessions could vary. Normally on the morning, you'd wake up, you'd go for a run. Either it's sprints or a good long run, maybe 10K, maybe something like that. And then after that, your second session could be doing your strength and conditioning with your coach, working on your speed, your agility, your power, lifting the weights. And your last session, obviously, the boxing side comes into it, where it's really tough on the pads, long rounds, sparring, long rounds on the heavy bag, abs as well. And then by then you're knackered, it's time to rest and go again.
So it's basically, what's the peak physical condition you can get in for 8 to 10 weeks time for that one fight? No, it's cool. It's
That's it,
interesting.
definitely.
So you go through training camp. I'm guessing do you do your homework on the other fighters? Get any footage you can see, almost reputation, what are they good at, what are they bad at, and how you kind of work around that?
Yes, that's something that I've picked up from the amateur days. We used to do it quite a lot, even at GB in Sheffield. We used to watch your opponent, previous fights that they've been to, previous tournaments, and you just study them, see what sort of weaknesses and strengths they have, and what you can do to sort of get advantage. But over time, my professional coach has said to me, we don't really watch tapes, or I don't really watch tapes. He does the revision, and what he says to me is, as long as I'm 100%, as long as I'm ready, the rest will come. So I just work on myself now.
Because applying that to business, it's almost a lot of companies and people, I don't think spend as much time as they should looking at their competitors, because whether they like it or not, they will be good at stuff, whatever the stuff is. And almost, if you can acknowledge those strengths, you can still play to yours. But I think, there are some really kind of good links with sport in general and kind of business. So you kind of go through training camp. Talk me through the kind of day of a fight and the build up to actually kind of go into the ring.
So for myself, on the day of the fight, I like to sleep in as much as I can, just to get the couple of hours extra rest.
So this is assuming, say if your fight's at 9 o'clock, what time would you sleep in till? What is a sleep in for you?
I'd probably wake up around 9, 10 a.m.
Okay.
I'd say that's a sleep in for me. I'd always make sure that's well rested first of all, and I'd get my nutrition in next. Start loading up on my good energy foods. Not too much, not overdoing it, overindulging, but making sure I get my rice, my oats, sweet potatoes, that kind of stuff. Sort of midday-ish. And then as it gets a little bit later on during the day, around 3, I always try and have a nap, try and relax, just switch off completely, turn my phone off, don't get no distractions, just relax completely so I can save my energy, because I believe that there's only a certain amount of energy that everyone has, and I need to focus on just letting it go when it's time, and that's in the ring. So I have my nap, I wake up, I watch maybe 10-15 minutes of some inspirational stuff, some videos of likes of Roy Jones Jr., look at some really good fighters, Floyd Mayweather's, and that's about it. We head to the venue and we get ready to go.
Do you do kind of visualization? Do you, obviously you know what that is, but it's almost where do you imagine the fight, or do you just kind of get motivated and then go for
it? I'd say during the training camp, when I'm going through my shadow boxing, or even on the bags, I think about what my opponent's going to do, what I need to do, and I sort of visualize steps ahead, just try and be one step ahead of the opponent when it's time to get in the ring. But one thing I do like to do also, which I didn't mention, during the camps and on the morning of the fight, is listen to motivational tapes as well. So the first thing I do when I wake up, I'll get something on like a Les Brown or Tony Robbins or something like that on YouTube just to give me that boost.